Hey there. How are you?
Right.
All right, we're back at it with Kyle Busch. If everybody can turn their attention up front. Kyle, busy week, busy weekend. Very important.
Yeah, it's always important to come out and run strong, especially in the chase. And being here at Dover, one of my favorite places and one of the racetracks that we really run well at. I'm looking forward to it. And coming out here, running the Nationwide Series race as well as the Cup race, it's good. It's not too bad of a weekend. Today's actually pretty simple, not too hard. So hopefully we just have a good, solid qualifying effort at the end of the day, where we can start somewhere up near the front, get a good pit selection, and then race them on Sunday.
Sounds good. Questions for Kyle? Raise your hand so I can spot you, and we'll get you a microphone. Any questions? Dustin, and then Bob Margolis.
Dustin Long, Landmark Newspapers. Kyle, you talked at the end of the teleconference earlier this week about you might be willing to give up, all your wins if you could for a championship, this championship. If you could do that, if you got this championship, how would things be different? What would you hope would be different, or the value of that, other than just being called a champion? How do you think things would be different for you as a Cup champion, as opposed to somebody who's built this resume with all your wins?
I think championships just kind of solidify how good you are throughout a year and how you're able to beat the best of the best in the weekends that it matters the most, and the bad weekends. You can win all the races you can win throughout your career and stuff, and be known for a guy that could go out there and win on a weekend. But to win over the whole year, that's 36 races that you beat everybody else. So to be known as a champion is what everybody looks to be known as in this sport. And so for myself and for Joe Gibbs Racing, I mean, that's what we start the year off for, is trying to go after the championship. Everybody's always like championship talk. It's not, oh well, we hope we can win 5 races this year. That's not really what we're looking to do. We're more so concentrated on trying to win a championship.
Bob.
Kyle, given the situation this week with RCR, I'm sure there's been some discussion, and you may or may not have been part of it, in the shop about, hey, let's make sure all the cars are good. And there's always talk about, a lot of times things happen because things get said, not so much that the cars are wrong. You know what I'm saying? Is there discussion of that about, hey, we better watch ourselves, let's be careful. These races really matter. Watch what we say over the radio. Watch our criticism of NASCAR at this point. I mean, does that enter into the equation at this point of the game too?
I would say Denny's well aware of that. Not to put words in his mouth, but he's been there. For myself, you always want to be conscious of those things, but in the heat of the moment, you're not really thinking about, the repercussions of what might happen if you say something. So for myself, it's fun to go out there and race as hard as we do with all our competitors every week, and then, your cars go to the tech center and whatnot, and then, whether you get penalized if you're out of bounds, or if you're good, you're in the clear, your car is sent back to the shop, and you get it ready for the next time you're going to race it. So for myself to maybe not say some things that you'd really like to say, obviously you've always got to be conscious of what you're talking about.
Hand in the back. There you go.
Buddy Herlock, the News Journal, and I am asking this in reference to Danica Patrick, but what would you say to any driver who would like to be racing in stock cars every Sunday, how they should gradually break into it? Should they be racing more in these Pro East series? Should they do a full year on Nationwide? What would you say?
It's a lot easier if you're a young kid growing up to tell them how to come up through the ranks versus somebody like Dario Franchitti or somebody like Danica Patrick, who's come from growing up in the open wheel side and has done what they've done over there and been successful at it, and then they try to jump to NASCAR, or like Sam Hornish. It's harder to tell those guys where to start or what to do. But when you're, I don't know how old Danica is, I don't know how old Dario is, but I imagine they're in their 20s or 30s, And so it's hard to tell those guys to go back and run late model races against 14 and 16-year-old people, and then to run the Camping World E-Series, which is against majority probably 18 to 28-year-olds, and then, to kind of move themselves up like we typically would grow up. That's how I grew up, was racing in those different series and divisions. So, I think just being able to get the extra seat time in any possible car that you can is beneficial at the racetracks that you're going to. But you have to recognize and understand people need to be able to talk to you about how different those cars are going to drive. Those Camping World East cars don't drive anything close to what a Nationwide car is going to drive like here. The Nationwide cars don't drive anything close to what a truck does, or a Cup car for that matter. So everything has its own tendencies. And for me, the experience that I have, I've learned all those tendencies. I know how to differentiate between the 3 different series or more at different racetracks. So, it's not that challenging for me, but for somebody young that doesn't know stock cars, it's really hard for them.
What else for Kyle? Anything else? No? Kyle?
All right, cool.
Thank you. Good luck this
No problem.
weekend.
Thanks.